All right, good morning, everybody. Mohammed here, Rights of Fathers. I promised you guys that I was going to make a video about child support. I don't like to say how to beat child support or how to get out of child support. Child support, it exists. It exists for a reason. There are instances when child supports are necessary for there's a situation where a mother or father desperately needs help to raise, child or children, and for like an absentee type parent, or for somebody that just generally needs one to raise child, or I'll say more importantly children. But there are instances when child support is used to basically hamper a parent's development economically, to the extent that it's used to lock people up. It's used to put somebody in such financial hardship that they're never able to get ahead. So this video is more specifically for fathers, and for those fathers that the system is used to deprive them of their life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. So that's what this video is for those individuals, mostly fathers. But personally, I haven't really had much problems with child support, so I can't really tell you from first-hand experience if I had like those type of issues. But what I can say is the mother of my child did try to put me on child support. Now the reason I didn't cooperate is because she was basically trying to use the system to basically to make it difficult for me to have economic freedom. It wasn't based on necessity. In fact, I did try to reason with her in terms of having a private agreement where if you really need the money, we could come into our own agreement. I don't need the government to be the middleman for your economic gain. Now the reason why I declined it, because it was based on our agreement when we got a divorce. She specifically told me that she didn't need it, she doesn't want it. She is doing well financially, and when we went to the divorce court, the judge asked her at least 3 times. I mean, that's after we have already had our own private agreement. But the judge asked her at least 3 times, are you sure you don't want child support? No. Are you sure you don't want child support? No. Do you understand that you cannot come back in the future and ask for child support? Yes. Okay. Fast forward into the future, we end up in a kind of a nasty custody battle, and even though she won, they didn't. There was not even a word of nothing about child support was mentioned. And then when I kept, fighting for my son's custody, kept fighting. Finally, I get a letter from child support, and I literally laughed, because I was like, why are you coming after me for child support right now? I mean, after all of our agreements. So I tried to reach out to her. Of course, she didn't respond. So thinking that she was just gonna raid my estate, that was I was able to deal with child support on my own, and that was the extent of my experience of child support. Well, I just remembered I did help a couple of people, a couple of my friends that were basically pillaged by child support. One of them I remember, he was like a father. He was like in his 40s, and he uh, he had been paying child support for like over 20 years because he had like different baby mamas, and he had multiple children, so they all put him in child support. And I mean, the guy, he worked like 3 jobs, and just, even after his children reached the age of 18, he was still like paying the back pay and all this craziness. So we were just hanging out with one of my Nigerian friends, and he came through and we were talking, and then he started telling me his nightmare stories about child support, and I was so disgusted, and I said, yeah, I'll help you. And so I just told him, just bring everything, every single document you got for child support. Let me look at it. Let me see, what's in it. Sure enough, I saw it, and I mean, his paychecks were basically like, I mean, that dude was working like, I would say close to like 60, 70 hours a week. And I mean, I was disgusted to see like how much money they were taking out of it, because he had so many different children, and even though they were over 18, he owed so much that he was never gonna get out of child support in his lifetime. Alhamdulillah. And I was like, wow, you've been paying child support for like 15 years? Like, oh, I'm sorry, it was more than that. But and I felt so sorry for him, because he thought, there was like there was no way out of it. He thought, that was like the end of, it was going to go through this to the end of his life, and I looked at it, and I told him, okay, let's meet next week. So I went home, I drafted some documents, and then I sent it to him via email. And I told him to send it by certified mail, return receipt. And I told him, I gave him the address who to send it to. And he actually sent it by UPS. I mean, it doesn't matter, because, it's still trackable, but it was kind of funny, because he paid like over $20 or something ridiculous. And so he sent it, and I told him, okay, when we met that week after, I was like, okay, did you send it? He said, yeah, I sent it. He showed me all the tracking stuff. And then I said, okay, in 10 days, you're gonna I'm gonna email you again, and you're gonna send that. And he sent it. And we waited 10 days. I was like, okay, did you get a response? He said, nope, no response. I was like, okay, here's the final document. I'm gonna email it to you once again. Email it to him. He sent it. Never heard from them ever again. So everybody's situation is different, and there's so many ways to go about it. But the bottom line is, you have to have an agreement with the mother. That's like the very first step. You have to have a private agreement, and if that doesn't work, then you deal with the child support agency themselves. And the way that you go about it is, you basically look up what administrative processes. You're just basically going to ask them, hey, I understand that you're the child support agency, and that you claim that I owe this much money, or that I should pay this much money. May I please have the validation of this debt, this alleged debt? So just ask them for proof that, of their accounting. Ask them for proof of the actual contract that you agreed upon, and you need that in a wet signature. They're never going to be able to answer it, because there. I don't know how much you guys know about the law, but there's a concept called double dipping. So if they have your social security number, they're able to get the funds, for the child support. But when you're paying them, what you're actually paying for is just the taxes for what, for the funds that they're claiming, via the IRS. All right. So this is just a short video because, I don't think it's that much of an issue. But if you guys need help, shoot me an email or drop a comment. Make sure you guys like and subscribe so this video can reach all the fathers that need help. And let me know what you guys think or what you guys want me to get deeper into. All right. Till next time.